Tomorrow marks 2 weeks out from the election day. Florida early voting has started today. In Michigan, as I mentioned, there had been an extension for 2 weeks in which a ballot could arrive if it has been postmarked on election day. But that's been reversed by 3 judges in Michigan, all of whom were appointed by Rick Snyder. I make this point. It used to be like you don't want to say that because you don't want people to feel like who appointed the judges determines the outcome. But that is, Brendan, how long have we been doing this now? Joining me today, of course, Matt Leck, Brendan Finn. Those are the like here in my ear. But how long ago was it? Was it like 3 or 4 years ago? I said there 2 or 3 years ago. I said to you, like when we get to hear a judgment, I want to know who appointed the judges.
But there's a House style guide change in about 2017, I would say.
Right.
That became the case.
And I don't think there has, I don't know. It's perhaps there's been one occasion, but I can't think of it where the ruling is not a function, or I should say the ruling does not correlate with which president, or in this instance, which chief executive and a governor appointed the judge. That is just the reality of our judicial system now. And I would argue that it is more of a function of the development of a massive machine centered on the Federalist Society on the right that makes this ability to guess who appointed the judges based upon the ruling, because the Federalist Society became this black box that basically produced all of these clones, these judges who we know how they're going to rule in every instance. And they do it. The polarization, at least within the legal field, has been exclusively the purview of the right for the past, 20, 30 years. And I hope that we're seeing, we're turning a corner on that. But because the fact of the matter is that's what the judiciary is. And I think the left needs to sort of, and by the left, I'm talking, center to the left, needs to sort of reevaluate the fantasy or the dream world that they've been living in, that the judiciary is above all that. It's not. It's not. These judges in Michigan said, look, it's not the state's fault that, because there was something like tens of thousands of votes in the primary that were delayed. The voter put their vote in or mailed it in the timely manner. It was postmarked when it needed to be postmarked. And yet you had tens of thousands of votes in Michigan during the primary that were discounted because of just a failure to deliver these things on time. And the state's, it's not the state Supreme Court, it's a state court in Michigan says that, well, I guess it was 6,400 ballots arrived too late during the primary in August. And this Michigan State Appeals Court said the pandemic and delivery woes are not attributable to the state. Yes, that's true. They're not attributable to the state. But if you value the right of your citizens to vote, and they do everything that the state has required of them, then it is at least the state has an obligation, right? I mean, in the context of contract law, if I say to you, here's an offer, I'm giving it to you via the mail, you need to respond to me via the mail, and you do so, Once you respond via the mail, because I've set up that parameter of how I want you to respond, we've made the deal. Like, you know, it's the states that says you need to mail this by a certain day for us to count your vote. And if the voter does it, then the state has a certain obligation, at least a reasonable one, seems to me, to count that vote. But not according to these judges, who just coincidentally were appointed by Republican Governor Rick Snyder when he was there, when he was not poisoning the children of Flint. He was also appointing these 3 judges. So that's why we mentioned that. And I don't know what the implications are. 6,400 in a primary. I don't know how many thousands that's going to be in the general election, but I'd be willing to bet you that the majority of those, based upon all the data we've seen, we can expect those votes to be votes for Joe Biden. The majority of those votes that will not be counted because they will not have an extension, despite the fact that we have evidence that the post office attempted to slow down the mail. We don't know if they have reportedly reversed, based upon a lawsuit, the policies that were slowing down the mail, but we'll see. And of course, there's a pandemic, so you have more people voting absentee than they have in the past. But that is one of the major problems that we have in this country, is that our right to vote, I've got some bad news for you folks, not sacrosanct as it is made out to be.